All right, hello everyone. My name is Julia. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can opt your children out of specific library resources. It's a pretty simple process. It's just a form that you need to fill out and send to your school principal. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. We're going to do a sample form and we're going to explore an elementary school catalog. All right, so first step, you want to go to the school district's website. That's palmbeachschools.org. And from there, you're going to hover over students and parents. And then from there, you're going to go down to School Library Media Center Resources and Objection Process and Form. Click on that. All right. And then you'll see here various links. We're going to explore the online library catalog in a little bit. We want to go down here to School and Classroom Library Services Opt-out Procedures. So this is the information your written notice needs to include. And it's very important to note that this consent will need to be resubmitted at the beginning of each academic school year. So this form doesn't carry over. If you have a child moving up to another grade, you have to resubmit this. I also know that you can update the form. Let's say a new title you want to restrict is purchased by your school. You can just send an additional form and they will update that for you. All right. So let's go right into an online library catalog and let's look at some titles. All right, we're just going to go to Acrid Pines because it's right here. It's first on the list. Okay, you go to catalog here. Now, for the example that I'm going to do, I'm going to use gender identity beliefs as an example of, let's just say I don't want my child exposed to any gender identity beliefs at school. So there's a few keywords that I might type in to find these titles. Let's go with trans. See what comes up. All right. So, familiar with this title, Intersection Allies. See here it says it also calls for solidarity for trans safety. So, I don't want this. So, a really easy way we can do this, we can just copy and paste. And let's go over to our example. And I typed here, my child should not be permitted to check out the following titles. And this is a pretty easy way we can do this, is every title we find, we can just copy paste it over, right? Now let's try another keyword. Let's try gender. A lot of things here, right? So I could go through and copy and paste all these titles over, but there are other ways that I can do this. If we go to Anna on the Edge, we can see it's tagged with these tags, right? Including gender identity fiction. So if I click on this tab, open in a new tab, I see that these books are all tagged gender identity fiction, and I don't want my child to have any of these books. So a way that I'm going to do this is copy this tag, and then I go to my form and I can say my child is not permitted to check out any title tagged with the following subjects. Right, so this saves me a little bit of time because I don't have to copy and paste over all those 3 titles that are tagged under that heading. And then another benefit this gives to me is that if my library over the course of the year gets a new book with that tag, it'll automatically be excluded without me needing to fill out a new form and saying, yes, I also want to exclude this new book that you got. We can also do it by authors. We can do it by keyword search terms. Also, when you're doing this, I would say a rule of thumb is to be more thorough and to err on the side of caution. And if there's a book that your child is missing out on, you can get it from the public library. Let me show you something interesting about this particular catalog. So we typed in the word trans and we typed in the word gender, but we didn't type in the word transgender, right? Do different books come up if we type that in? The answer is yes. Look, see? I Am Jazz, When Naden Became a Brother. These titles didn't show up when we typed in gender because they're tagged transgender people, transgenderism. So we're just going to copy and paste that over. That's something important to keep in mind because we could have missed those. Another thing I just want to highlight here is a book that I know about, Stonewall, A Building Uprising Revolution. I know this book specifically talks about transgender people and their role in the Stonewall riots, but it isn't tagged with anything related to gender, see? So that's something you need to watch out for. You could say, I don't want anything tagged LGBTQ. Let's see what comes up when we do that. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's say that. Excellent. So you would just need to go through and fill out this form. They want you to sign and print your name. There's many ways you can do this. There are electronic signature services that you can use. A pretty straightforward, simple way you could do it is print this form out, sign it with a pen, and hand it in to admin when you are dropping your child off at school or picking them up. Another thing that you can do is you can print the form out, sign it, and then scan it into the computer. The public library has printing services and scanning services that you can take advantage of. And I would also like you to keep in mind that this is not a perfect fix, right? There are many of these books that we opted out of that are just on the shelf, you know? So there's nothing preventing your child, even though they can't check out, it feels good to be yourself, from picking it up off the shelf and reading it in the library and being exposed to these beliefs, right? So there's many things that you can do as a citizen of this county and a parent. There is a challenging process. You can specifically object to materials and go through the challenge process. Sometime in 2026, we're going to make a video talking about that process. Another thing that you can do is just reinforcing your beliefs about gender in your home, whether by like reading books that reinforce your beliefs, by talking about them. I think it's up to you to decide the maturity level of your child. You could even check out a book like It Feels Good to Be Yourself and walk through the arguments with your child and explain, poke holes in the logic, basically, depending upon the maturity level of your child. But these are things that you need to be proactive as a parent and get ahead of it. And I would also say tell your parent friends about this, because they might not know, A, that these books are in the catalog at all, and B, that they have a say, they have parental rights and can opt out of this. Anyway, that's all from me today. If you have any experiences filling out this form, utilizing your parental rights in this way, and you want to share, please comment to us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much.